Hi, my name is Jordan, and you're watching Zach Archer.
Just a couple of weeks ago, I saw the new Color Purple musical adaptation. I went and watched it with my girlfriend in theaters. The first movie I watched of the year, January 1st, I went and watched this movie, and I felt like I needed to talk about it here. I really was blown away by this movie, and I've never seen the original film by Steven Spielberg, but I went into this one with not much of an idea of what it was about specifically. I just knew my girlfriend was saying that it's probably a pretty sad movie, and of course, the musical adaptation is going to be probably. It sounds like it was a little less sad than the original, but obviously it was still very impactful. Otherwise, it wouldn't have resonated with me. But I just want to preface it by saying that I hadn't seen the original because I know a lot of people's criticisms with this movie, though it has been praised and received very well generally. The criticisms I have seen of this movie are mostly that it doesn't hit certain points that the original does as strongly because it's more of a musical adaptation. So some things that work better in musicals might not translate as well onto a film screen, but for me, it really worked. This adaptation was directed by Blitz Bazawule, and I really do want to say that the performances are the biggest highlight of this movie for me. Like, they really drive it. Some killer casting, star-studded cast all the way through. Just to name a few, we got Fantasia Barrino. She was excellent, excellent. And believe it or not, this is her film debut. That's very hard to believe considering how well she stole the stage when it came to this. Of course, it's a role she's familiar with. She did play it on Broadway for a couple of years and on a national tour for a couple of years as well. So obviously very familiar with the role, but of course, it's very different stepping onto a film set if you've never done it before. This is literally her first. You go in her filmography. This is the only movie on there. That's wild to me, and I think would be very deserving of any number of awards you could award for this movie. It's interesting because it's like the movie came out December 25th, Christmas. It's one of those classic Christmas Day movies. So it might not make a lot of people's like favorite movies of 2023 lists. Like we didn't get a chance to watch it that week because I didn't. It was right after January 1st for me. But I hope people give it the attention it deserves. Taraji P. Henson was also awesome in this movie. Really, really carried a lot of scenes, added a lot of personality to some of the darker moments of the movie as well. Kind of brightened them up a little bit. Danielle Brooks was excellent, of course, for the very same reason. Her like comedic relief that she added to the movie, just really nice, a really nice touch and a dynamic that the movie really needed. And she was excellent. You get a whole range of emotions from her throughout the movie. And lastly, of my big highlights, Coleman Domingo was awesome as Mister. He really killed it. He's one of those characters that you're gonna absolutely hate, and he really sells it to you convincingly. I mean, I just watched before even going to see the movie. Recently, I watched an actors roundtable that had Coleman Domingo in it, along with a bunch of different variety of actors together, like Cillian Murphy, Mark Ruffalo, a wide variety. And it was cool to see him there. I honestly don't know a lot of his movies, but he was excellent. I mean, you can ask for a better villain for a movie like this. You know, really despicable, and he's so good. I do want to say Halle Bailey. I like Halle Bailey a lot, and I thought she was great in this movie, but she was honestly, relative to the whole movie, she was in a very small portion of it. I was expecting hearing about like Halle's in this new movie, got a big role. I was expecting more because I didn't know the specifics of the movie, that like young Nelly is only a smaller portion of the film. I was expecting her to be more present throughout, so that was kind of a shock for me. But then the cast, I mean, was just killer enough that it didn't matter. In terms of the music, I thought it was great in how it infused itself into the movie. And Fantasia, any song she was a part of, killer. You know, I've known of Fantasia ever since American Idol, way back when season 3, when she won. We were watching. I was super young at the time, must have been like 7, I think around 7 years old at the time, if I'm doing the math right. But I remember, like, she was never my favorite on that show, but seeing this and hearing some of her music since, it's like, wow, I've gained a much greater appreciation for her as a singer. And she killed it in all fronts in this movie. The vocals were absolutely on point, as well as the performance, like I said before. I don't want to go into too much detail, because if you don't know the specifics of the story, it's great to watch it unfold. I will say I do agree with one of the other criticisms I've seen, which is that the beginning of the movie can be a little slow to get through. It can be a little rough. Felt a little more surface level in the beginning, some of the plot elements, but it got to be really fleshed out. And by the end of the movie, like second half of the movie, absolutely, it's like a 10 out of 10 movie for me. The only thing that brings it down a little bit is the beginning portion, but not to any significant extent. Like, I would still say the back half of this movie carried it well enough to make up for it and make it an excellent movie. Easily one of my favorite movies. Would I say if I saw it last year, would it be my favorite movie of the year? Very possibly. Of the new movies I've seen, at least last year, absolutely. I just want to give this my greatest recommendation. Pretty much an all black cast, which is awesome to see, and they got some of the greats. I haven't even named everybody. Corey Hawkins was great in it as well, as a more supporting character, but so much fun. Like, whenever he's on screen, he's so much fun. He was great in The Heights. Minor role in The Walking Dead for a portion, but loved him in The Heights, so it was cool to see him here as well. And yeah, I just want to give it my highest recommendation. If you haven't seen it already, it's still in some theaters around here, and I don't know for how much longer, but definitely get in on it while you can. I think it was just a really powerful movie, and I would not blame you at all if you were brought to tears at any point in this movie. It's super well done. There were certain moments, like a certain scene at the dinner table, so good, and then certain key moments with, like, Fantasia when she's in the car driving off. Like, these little moments here, which, if you've seen it, is like so good. I do want to go back and watch the original at some point, and then see, where did they stray from the original and which ways they align. But yeah, please, I encourage you to check it out. It's an excellent film. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, liking the video, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on this movie, and what did you think? If you've seen it already, what did you think of it? If you do end up seeing it, I'd love to hear from you. Come back and let me know. Go to zacharcher.net for any more from me as well. And until next time, take care.